What is good, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video, and in this one I'm going to be talking about the one and only Tesla stock and what you should be looking after for the future. I'm also going to break down what factors are affecting the market and also the thing on everyone's minds, and that is this whole Elon Musk and Twitter deal, as Elon is once again offering to buy Twitter again. So I'm going to break down what on earth he said, what is going on with this, and how all these factors may affect Tesla's share price for the near-term future. Now, before I break anything down though, before I get into any more details, I do have to mention a couple of things before starting. Firstly, I'm not a financial planner. Don't take any of this as financial advice whatsoever. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire Tesla community as a whole. And the last thing is, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link down below and into the description. If you sign up for Webull, the link down below, and deposit any amount of money into the account, you're guaranteed up to 12 free stocks, each worth up to $2,000. And the best part is, any of these 12 free stocks could be a free Tesla share. It's a limited time offer. The offer ends in just 2 weeks. Check it out before they run out. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. So looking at Tesla, this thing gapped to the upside for today, was pushing up very strong for the overall start of the day. And what's very interesting is the whole market did actually push up as we have big catalysts coming out. Now Tesla was actually rallying as well. In the beginning, the SPY was pushing up a lot harder than Tesla, and then all of a sudden we saw this big turn of events after the first hour. Then Tesla started to push up pretty hard, so about that 257 range. However, the big news came out that Elon Musk has another Twitter offer and he's actually willing to buy the company again. And all these big articles started coming out, all these things started happening, and we saw a lot of selling coming in to Tesla's share price, and this thing dumped from 257 all the way down to 242 within a couple of hours. So pretty crazy stuff to see this thing actually drop that hard. And we know that this news really moves Tesla, especially from the past couple of months. So what I want to do in this video is kind of talk about the overall market for just a couple of minutes, then I'm going to transition into the Elon Musk part. So firstly, it's very important to note that OPEC has announced they are going to be cutting some of the oil production for the time being. This is going to be very big because this did cause oil prices to start going up, and as a result, we did see the futures follow to some degree. So this is kind of artificially causing the markets to prop up. And on top of that, we have the Bank of England becoming even more dovish in a way, because they're actually buying bonds again, printing a lot more money to help prop up the markets. And a lot of people are talking about how it's kind of ironic how they're trying to raise rates and simultaneously fight inflation while doing things that are driving inflation up at the same time. So the tax cuts in England and all of these things going on simultaneously are what are playing a role in yields going down. And as they start to drop, that's what's pushing the markets up as well. The market was extremely fearful just yesterday, a couple of days before that as well. And now we're actually moving more on the fearful side. So the market's actually kind of seeing some relief right now, and we are starting to see the markets continue from there. What else is very interesting is I mentioned a couple of days ago to you guys. If you guys were watching this channel on Sunday, I think I mentioned this. If you were looking at the options chain on the SPY would be a good representative of the overall market, because in this market, the SPY is heavily correlated with the NASDAQ and the QQQ. They're almost the same almost every single day, at least for the most part. So with that said, it's important to note that the put to call ratio for Friday was about 2.09 just a couple of days ago, just yesterday as well. Now it's at 1.96. This means that in the beginning of the week, retail, maybe some institutions as well, they were loading the boats on the put positions. They were trying to short the markets, and the market makers took advantage of this. They take advantage of retail, and they actually played them. And that's how they actually make a lot of money. They like to cause a lot of pain, and they make money off these spreads. So that's something the market makers did. And as a result, this is incentivizing them to push the market up as well. So when one side is just too overloaded onto one side, if everyone starts shorting at the same time, this incentivizes the market makers to start pushing the market up. It's just how they make a lot of money and things like that. So also, we're entering the month of October. We know historically October tends to be, a strong month for the markets. There have been a few crashes, however, where October was the month where the crashes started. As of right now, it looks more like we're actually following this trend, just at least to some degree. So we are seeing some relief in October, which is what tends to happen. And as a result, I'm not necessarily saying that this is going to happen forever. The market's just going to rally for all of October. But I do think that for the next upcoming trading days, we do have potential to continue from where we are. If you look at Tesla's overall data and ratios, we can see right over here the price pairs ratio is continuing to drop. And as this drops, Tesla is showing some weakness relative to the overall market. Now, this could have also been because of the fact that we saw the Twitter deal come out, and that really caused Tesla to drop even harder. Otherwise, Tesla would have been showing a lot more strength. And because of that, I am still very, very skeptical and very cautious when it comes to trading Tesla. Now, some other big analysts are giving Tesla another buy rating. They do believe Tesla is going to push up over the next couple of weeks, couple of months. So it's very possible for Tesla to do that. The only thing that makes this a little bit like tricky, that could cause some more choppy price action, is that whole Twitter deal. So with that, actually all said, it's important to note that right here Tesla came to this key zone. It came very close to that 242, got a nice bounce, and so far we're seeing some chop around that 247 to 250 range. I'm anticipating Tesla's gonna kind of like stay in this range and maybe push up with the overall market. So Tesla does have the potential to come back into the low 250s, maybe 257 to 260 as well. We could push up in this range, but it's a little bit tricky to make that call because it depends on the Twitter deal once again. So now I want to transition into the Twitter deal part. What is going on with it? The first thing to note is, I'm sure you guys noticed over the last couple of days, couple of weeks, Elon Musk has a tendency of just tweeting a lot of things that are on his mind. Now, people have different views of this. That's totally okay. But I do respect the fact that he is a very real man, and he likes to actually stand up for the rights to say as you please. So that's a pretty commendable thing. But as a result, he did mention many issues that he has with Twitter and many things they're doing wrong in their business model, as they are a private company. Now, as a result, he later on came out and ended up saying that he wants to actually buy Twitter. However, things didn't really work out in the past. And then later on, Elon Musk was actually supposed to go to certain places to actually see many court readings and things like that. So, specifically, he was actually supposed to go to, I believe, the Delaware Chancery Court. And that's when Musk made public statements throughout the summer that the number of bots in the platform was very understated, the claims people make, and this was a material effect on the price of Twitter shares. So then this whole argument came out where Musk could have argued. I think Meet Kevin, another very famous YouTuber, huge shout out to him too. He provides very good information. So Meet Kevin actually stated that Twitter, it could be liable for omissions of or misleading material facts, just like what I mentioned to you guys and what Elon Musk stated, and that waiving due diligence does not mean you have to accept a fraudulent disclosure. Now, the thing about this is the fact that he mentioned they can be liable, and there are different interpretations of whether or not this whole bot problem is, their fault or not. There's many different arguments you can make. And I know that a lot of people are kind of like siding with Elon on this, but the real thing is, he's not necessarily forced to buy Twitter, at least as of right now. Now, that could change depending on what's happening, and he seems very fixated on actually closing this deal. It was also mentioned by Meet Kevin that there's an 80% likelihood that the deal goes through, possibly by Monday, and there's a 20% chance that Elon Musk's team to limit downside damage if Twitter rejects and goes for more due to fees and damages. So what this means is the fact that there could be a lot more damages, not just for Twitter, but also the shareholder base. And if this deal does not go through, there's no telling what's going to happen from this point, because now we're seeing Twitter being halted. There's so much talk about this deal, and the company itself will go through a big mess if this ends up not happening. So it seems more likely the deal goes through and Elon Musk will end up buying the company as a whole. And the real problem with that, and that's the thing a lot of Tesla investors are now kind of concerned about, is how this may affect Elon Musk's job performance for Tesla. Because if he's not as involved in Tesla, some people worry that this could actually lead to big changes in the company. It could slow them down. And I personally do not feel that way because of the fact that Tesla has this big plan really set out for many decades to come. But according to their latest filing reports, I do believe that this is what is going to be announced. Now, if this is announced maybe sometime during this week, maybe by the time you're watching this video, it's even announced. I don't truly know yet. But my main point is the fact that the interpretation of this for many Tesla investors is not the best, and this deal could lead to potential downside, at least temporarily. And that's why it's very important to be very prepared for this in case the big announcement comes. So I don't want to go into the full details about the legal precedences and things like that about this filing report or Twitter. I want to now talk about the Tesla share price. What are we seeing so far? Right now, you guys can notice a very simple story that this is telling us. Right now, Tesla is able to push up. We're able to get some nice volume in, but we have these disruptions from the Twitter deal. We have disruptions from the news that could cause a big drop in the share price almost out of nowhere. And that's the reason why it's very important to be cautious when playing this stock. Now, I do believe that over the next couple of days, there's going to be a lot of apprehension about the current moves of Elon Musk, what he's going to do with the company and Twitter. So I do believe that Tesla's not just going to start dumping immediately unless more news comes out. I think it's more likely that Tesla would respect an uptrend because over the last couple of days, Tesla's been very, very oversold. If you look at the daily, Tesla just dropped like crazy hard. So it is actually due for a slight bounce, in my opinion. So getting that bounce means we should start respecting an uptrend relatively soon. Tesla is very oversold on the RSI. It is starting to show some signs of a bounce. The MACD is a little bit wide open, but I want to see this actually close a bit. And also, if we look at other indicators like our EMAs, we do have a 1348 EMA cross, but we are seeing it curl a bit, which could be a sign that Tesla is ready to start kind of consolidating these ranges. So my overall thesis is this. It's the same thing I mentioned. I believe that Tesla is going to respect an uptrend with the overall market if we continue to see some green. I think the Nasdaq and SPY really want to continue pushing up for some time. We're getting some nice volume, but we need confirmation of this truly to be a sign of reversal for the markets, at least temporarily. So for us to get confirmation, I want to see volume continue to push up. If the SPY and Nasdaq are going to continue pushing, you could see there was a moment where Tesla came down so hard to 242. Then we got a big bounce off that. We pushed almost to 250. So Tesla could continue to push up to this range. I want to see this thing hold above 250 and slowly start to push up and up and up. The only problem is there's no guarantee it's going to just keep going up and up. I do believe an uptrend could be respected for the future, but there will be those moments where we could see these big drops in the share price every now and then because of this Twitter deal. And if things kind of go out of hand, if this deal gets closer and closer, or we get other really big headlines, that's what could really disrupt this uptrend from Tesla, in my honest opinion. So if the deal is closed, if it's announced tomorrow, which I think is still kind of early, but who knows, if it's announced in a couple of hours, if it's announced on Friday, initially, I do believe Tesla could dump, guys. We could see a huge red day as an initial reaction. The market likes to kind of exaggerate. So that's why it's important to be very cautious and very careful. It's impossible to predict exactly what's going to happen, at least for the time being, because it's basically moving based off news. But for the time being, I do believe we have some volume coming in. I do believe the overall market will help Tesla at least somewhat push to the upside. And until then, it's very important to look at support and resistance levels. So if Tesla pushes up tomorrow, we're going to have some resistance at 250. We could quite easily break above that. But then it's also important to look at how this reacts to the EMAs as well, especially the 200 EMA, which happens to be right above where Tesla is. So I would anticipate that Tesla is going to see some chop right here around that 255 zone. Let me just draw this out. I'm not sure why this got deleted. So right here, 255, which is where we actually started from, right about here, I think Tesla's going to have resistance. If this thing could get a break above 255, I'd be watching 259. And a break above that, if we see lots of volume and Tesla pushes above 260, there's a chance we're going to fill the gap and this thing could actually push quickly above 265. Now, if Tesla does start to dump again, all right now the key support zone to really be watching is first off 245. We have some support there, but the big support where Tesla gets a lot of bounces would be that 242 zone. If Tesla retests this, we should get a bounce off here. If we don't get a bounce, then this whole area right here is very, very key for Tesla. A break below 242 is going to help us test 240. We could see somewhat of a bounce right there because that's a key zone, but if that doesn't hold us, I'm going to be watching 235. So be very careful in these zones. I mean, it's like I said, almost impossible to predict this perfectly. So please be very careful, especially if you're playing the upside. We could see some big drops temporarily out of nowhere. And if nothing new is announced, then this thing could respect a slight uptrend unless something else comes. So with that said, be prepared, because when the big deal, if it is actually closed, if Elon Musk makes that announcement, if the news comes out and says, oh, Twitter's okay with it, Elon Musk just bought Twitter, it's all done, then we could see a big drop in Tesla, in my opinion, for the short term. So please be very careful. Do what you have to do. Watch the news, and I will see you guys in the next one. Tesla to the moon, because the long term future is still very bright despite everything going on. And I'll see you guys in the next one.